Ellis, some news broke that kind of intrigues Browns fans yesterday.
Yep.
Trent Williams,
Yep.
Washington Redskins tackle who sat out last year with a contract dispute, didn't like the team, has been granted permission to go ahead and seek trades. Now, he was a guy John Dorsey loved.
Yep.
Remains to be seen how much the Browns like him. Are you at least intrigued by Trent Williams?
I think you have to be intrigued, and there's a feel that here we go again type of thing. Remember the trade deadline in October was this huge whirlwind that John Dorsey was going to get this deal done. But now we're at a point where time has passed and things have changed. There's, of course, a new regime in Cleveland, and it remains to be seen what price tag they're willing to match Washington on. The good with Trent Williams is that he's 31, going to be 32. He's going to only be about a $12 million cap hit this year. Those are numbers that the Browns can work with. What you don't like is the extension that he's looking for. He's been quoted saying he wants to be the highest paid tackle on the market, and the years after that. He knows this is going to be his last big payday, so he's probably going to be looking for 4, maybe 5 years, and it remains to be seen if the Browns are willing to hit that mark. It's a big investment for a guy who had injury concerns last year, is, like I said, 32 and, of course, trending the other way. And a guy who didn't play football for a whole year. You just don't know where he's at physically and mentally. Now, his agent put out a video of him training and boxing and doing the squats. One of those hype videos where he does one box jump and all of a sudden you think he can be Zion Williamson out here. But those videos are all nice and great, but there's a difference between being ready to play right now in March, and then when you put the pads on in August, September, and you're like, oh man, a year off, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I have no idea how Trent Williams feels. I'm sure he's excited to play football and get new life leaving Washington, but there are some red flags that make you at least say, okay, no, let's not break the bank for Trent Williams if you're the Browns. And a first-round pick seems steep right now, especially where we know that's a pick 10, even second at 41 seems a little high. So I'm not sure they'll be able to meet, but to answer your initial question about intrigue, of course you have to have it as the Browns have holes across that entire offensive line. You
kind of touched on it. What do you think what would you be willing to give up? Because you got to trade something.
Right.
And I'm tending to agree with you. I certainly wouldn't do 10, probably wouldn't do 41.
Right.
Third round, now you've got my interest.
Yeah, a third rounder might work, and if we're sitting here saying a third rounder works, then the front office in Washington saying, no, we're going to need a second or a first round pick. That's probably how these things play out. Now, could you do a third and maybe a tight end like David Njoku? Of course, the 2017 first round pick. If he still has, some good grace in Washington, who knows how the executives view him there. Jordan Reed has retired in Washington. They've got some holes at tight end. Vernon Davis obviously isn't the long-term answer. So maybe a third and Njoku works. After that, it gets tough because this is one of the deeper drafts at offensive line and some skill position spots, specifically a receiver. And not that the Browns are in dire need of a receiver, but a second or third round receiver wouldn't be a terrible pick either. So you have to understand that you're not only trading assets, but you're also signing Trent Williams long term. So that combination, again, is going to make it tough to move on Trent Williams, but nothing would surprise me. It's March.
The other thing to keep in mind is Trent Williams' position coach for a number of years in Washington was Bill Callahan, who is now the Browns' offensive line coach, and you can be sure that's going to be a guy that likes him.